All right, man. How's the tour going so far?
Good, man. Great bands. You know, we're having a good time. We crisscross. You know, we started in San Antonio, went out west all the way up to Seattle, and made our way back across into the Midwest. And tomorrow's the last show of the tour in Clarksville, Tennessee.
And then back home, huh?
Yeah.
For the holidays, or?
For a bit. We've been nonstop.
I know.
You know, so
I've been following you guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like it's time for a couple of months off. So
yeah, take a little
we're
breather.
scheduling next year with Europe and everything right now. So
cool.
And next year will be the 20th anniversary of Oddfellows Rest, so we want to do some special stuff.
Yeah.
For that, we're doing the Roadburn Festival in the Netherlands. We're going to do the whole record in its entirety. Oh. That way, we'll know all the songs.
That's awesome.
That's one of my main projects is to go back and relearn the shit from 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, me and Paul here are longtime friends, but we were in a band in high school together, and we actually opened for you guys on the Oddfellows Rest tour.
Oh, really?
Down here in Akron, Ohio, a place called Ron's Crossroads. I think Todd was still in the band.
I remember playing in Akron.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was the place. So it was a big deal for us back then. We were cutting our teeth.
Huge fans at the time.
Awesome.
But Oddfellows Rest is that's
great record, timeless
classic.
riffs. I mean, the riff lord.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting here, and I'm can't believe I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you very much.
You know, I think back on all the riffs that you wrote, and it's just they're so organic. I mean, where does that come from? The songwriting process, is it riff oriented? You write around a lyric? How's it work for you?
I come up with one riff, and if I have one killer riff, I already, like, I'll tell the guys I have a song, even though it starts with one riff, and I just write around that riff.
Yeah.
And then I hear phrasing and melody, vocal wise, and I write the lyrics. I'll have like the phrasing and all in my head, and I write, the lyrics along, to that. So I just. Excuse me.
No worries.
Shit. Hang on.
Yep. We'll pause. Where were we? Songwriting,
riffs,
jams.
Yeah.
So the songs mainly come from kind of jams then. I mean, you got a basic root riff and then kind of jamming out. That's how Crowbar's always sounded to me. It's never been like a demo-y kind of thing,
Well, in the beginning, like, a lot of times it would be, like, say on Obedience Through Suffering or whatever. A lot of times we would... Like, I might have a riff, Todd might have a riff, whatever, and we'd end up just gluing together 3 or 4 riffs and calling it a song. And it's like some of it worked and some of it didn't. So as time progressed and as I started, writing, really like writing with Down, opened up so much. It helped me out so much just because of writing with Phil and Pepper and Jimmy as well, and later on with Rex too. Phil, when he produced the self-titled record, like a song like Existence is Punishment, for instance, had like 4 or 5 riffs to it, and he's like, we ran through the song at rehearsal, and he's like, you want to be honest? I'm like, yep. He goes, that song's got one good riff. He goes, so we built, it's only a 2-riff song.
Cut the fat kind of thing.
I've learned, exactly, and I've learned to do that too. There's a lot of great, songs that are, it doesn't have to be, it can basically be, 2-3 riffs. Some of them are 4, 5, 6, whatever it calls for as you're writing it. However it develops is correct. But he showed me a lot with that and with the Down stuff, how simple the early Down stuff, like how simple a NOLA record is.
Yeah.
And nothing was overthought. It was just, it flowed naturally, and that's all you needed,
Yeah, just variations, even like changing the riff a little bit to make it to make it different. I mean, it's an art. I mean,
I listen to a lot of softer stuff, when I'm riding around or whatever, driving or something, and I've been this station I listen to, they play a lot of shit like Prince and Duran and just stuff from the 80s, that
good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. Like a song like Purple Rain is really only one riff.
Yeah,
and it's just it's building, it's dynamics. It's building and then letting it breathe again, and then building and just doing it. I mean, it's a brilliant song, obviously, great song, and I mean, stuff like that shows you, you don't have to have 100 fucking riffs to make a great song. It's really just one riff, you know.
That would probably surprise a lot of people about you, that you listen to other kinds of music, softer kind of stuff. Not to me though, because I mean, we've been fans for so long. Throughout the Crowbar records, there's either pieces or songs that are actually really mellow and vibey. I mean, like Oddfellows Rest, the title track.
Right,
right. That's some of my, honestly, sometimes it's just depending on the mood, but it's some of my favorite stuff. That just kind of brings to the question: do you think Crowbar would ever maybe release like a more mellow EP, like kind of what Mastodon just did? What they did, like a 4-song record, and it was all electric. You know, it's full band, but it was just a more mellow vibe. It was like way.
Well, I'm actually considering doing a solo thing like that.
Yeah,
where it would be Crowbar type stuff, but electric with drums, with some acoustic, whatever, but much
Trippy.
more mellow. Yeah, just vibey stuff. Because, I mean, I listen, you know, I mean, I'm old school. People constantly, what's some of your favorite new up and coming bands? And I'm like, I really don't know. I mean, if we tour with the bands, then, you know, I get to see them every night and go, okay, this band's killer. I mean, these guys are great tunes, and Insight we've toured with before as well. And, you know, it's Tri-County is cool. It's like, you know, I'll be on tour with I call them younger band. Everybody's younger than me, almost everybody. But you know, and I'll discover. That's how I discover new bands, because when I listen to music, which I don't have that much time in my personal life to actually just do it.
Just
I mean,
chill,
we have
listen.
a family. You know, we're on the go constantly. It's constantly business stuff. I mean, we run the whole Crowbar business thing. Really, my wife really does all the work.
Right.
But
road manager, full band manager too? Like
no, just helping out with like actually Jamie Josta and Steve Ross, who is Jamie's manages all of his affairs. They oversee everything and manage, but we're trying to get it, you know, less on them, and they do the important stuff.
Yeah,
not that the stuff Robin does is not very important. Right. It's just they do the big things, you know, that we are unable to do on our own, and they really give us, you know, they've helped us out so much and believed in us from the get-go. You know, when I decided to just do Crowbar full time, they've been nothing but great help. But, you know, Robin's trying to take a lot of the smaller stuff off of their hands and learn as she goes, and it's a lot less that they have to do. You know, it works. You know, it's a team effort, family thing, and it just works.
It's a smaller machine, but more probably well-oiled, very efficient.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, we've got, you know, we've done it long enough. Well, I mean, I've been touring 26 years now. Obedience to Suffering came out 26 years ago, but even with Robin, I mean, as much touring as we've done since the end of 2013, I mean, Jesus, she's already been to like 26 countries, and, you know, just learned a lot, you know, in a short period of a couple of years, you know. So it works, man.
Well, kind of playing off of what you were just talking about with Jamie Josta, that's how you got hooked up with Jamie? Because I was a huge fan of the Kingdom of Sorrow stuff. I mean, the riffs off that and the hooks off that were just killer.
Yeah, it's great shit, man.
Is there any idea of anything else like that going on again, or just nothing's off the table?
I always say you got to ask Jamie, and he always says you have to ask Kirk. So I'm up for it, man.
I love that stuff.
I'm totally up for it. But actually, I mean, I met Jamie when he was. I'm much older than him. Well, once again, I'm older than everybody. But I met Jamie when he was a promoter, and he was basically a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And, he had booked us in Napalm Death or something, so that, you know, Hatebreed could open. This is when, you know, before they had any kind of deal, just a local Connecticut band.
That's smart, you know.
Yeah, and then built his way up, and, you know, but first we really got tight and started, you know, talking about the Kingdom of Sorrow thing and all in early 2005. We did Hatebreed asked Crowbar to be the support act for our UK tour, so going on actual tour together, you know, we got to talking, and one night, you know, Jamie came in the dressing room and he's like, dude, we need to do a project together. And I said I would love to. And that shit happens all the time. Yeah, you know, he was still drinking then, and I was, of course. But, you know, we had some drinks or whatever. That shit happens all the time when you're on tour with your buddies and all. And you might have some beers or whatever. Yeah, man, it'd be great to do it. And it never happens.
Right.
I mean, and he just happened to call me out of the blue. I was repainting the whole inside of my mom's house for her, and the phone rang, and it's him out of the blue. And he's like, what are you doing, like, you know, for the next month? I said, actually nothing. We're getting ready to go out with COC, you know, in like a month. And he's like, you want to come up to Connecticut and let's get working on this project. And I said, yeah, sure. And literally, you know, like a couple of days, he's like, I know, book a flight. Like a couple of days later, I was up there, and that was the beginning of that. And it took a while to get everything really kicking, I guess. Like, we did the majority of the work right after Hurricane Katrina. What happened was we had all gone to my grandmother's house in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is like 2 hours from New Orleans, like, but kind of northwest. So completely out of, Katrina.
Up a little higher.
Yeah, and yes, where, because I mean, we had, you saw what happened to the city. So
yeah, absolutely.
So when he finally got in touch with me, he's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're okay, everything. And he's like, it's maybe a weird question, but would you want to come up here and we can do this Kingdom of Sorrow record? I'm like, please, thank you. I said, I'm going crazy.
Rescue
I had,
me.
No disrespect to anybody, but my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my wife at the time, who was my daughter's mother, my daughter, my sister, everybody in my poor grandma's house, and I know we were driving her crazy.
Right.
So I couldn't even get a flight out of Lafayette to Connecticut. So I had to get a ride to the airport in Baton Rouge and fly up there, and that's when we actually recorded the first record. I was up there a couple of weeks, and we completed everything.
I bet that was like a therapeutic kind of thing too. After going,
it was
through all
great.
that.
It was great to get just to go up there and just live and breathe. I mean, I literally stayed at Zeus, the producers, at the studio. I just lived on the couch. That was it. He had a shower and a bathroom and everything in the studio.
Perfect.
Like, I don't need anything else.
Simple living, though.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, that way we just lived and breathed the record. I mean, might do vocals
and it shows.
at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Might do guitar at 10 a.m. It just whatever.
That's kind of that's how Down 2 went for sure, right?
Yeah.
We saw that footage.
That was a much more maniacal. The Down 2 thing it's one of those things. I'm so glad we did it. And when I look back, I had so much fun, and I've really been getting into that album and listening to it a lot lately. Like if I go to the bar, playing tunes off of it on jukebox. But that was one I always say, I'm so glad we did it, but I don't ever want to make a record like that again.
Yeah, excess in all capacity.
I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Could have been a double record. You guys could have kept going, a few more days,
Yeah, well, we kind of it was crazy. We had some ideas, but I mean, we would literally, excuse me, work all day on a song.
Right.
Kind of do a rough demo of it,
right, just
to make it through. And then the next morning, first thing, we'd lay down the drums. So we'd all play scratch tracks along to Jimmy.
Right.
And when Jimmy was done, we'd take it from there. Phil would be writing lyrics in his house. Me, I think Rex stayed in Phil's in the big house, and we stayed at the Nosferatu's lair.
You just stay in that place down there.
I slept on the couch there actually, and but it's great. Like, cell phones don't even work out there.
I know.
It's so. I mean, you can hear a bird from a mile away. It's so peaceful and quiet, and it's so far removed from everything that it was a perfect environment to just live. We just lived there.
I get that.
Every day was nothing but writing, recording, and
that's
no
a good
lot of partying, but
yeah, you can get a lot done in that kind of environment.
Oh yeah, because there was nothing. It's not like, I got to go pick up the kids at school. It's like nothing. It's
like,
just,
I can't. I'm chained to
just live out there. I actually went home for Thanksgiving Day, and then came back and finished up. But that we took that one day off. I think I went home on like the Wednesday night and had like Thanksgiving dinner, at my mom's, and then was back out there like Friday morning, and whatever long it took. That was the only day off, really.
That was a perfect record for the fans too, because it was so long in between NOLA to Down 2. I remember that whole time, because that was right after 9/11, and then right after that, you get the news that you guys were making a record, and we're like, oh god damn, thank God, it's good news. It kind of takes it's a little bit of an escape. It kind of helped the fans out.
Well, that's what music is,
Yeah. So I remember all that, but that record is it's a classic to me. Some people say it's too long. It's like it was the perfect length, because we were waiting so long for the next one to come out. It was really cool. I just listened to Stained Glass Cross. I'm like, why the fuck?
I love that tune.
Why is that not on the fucking radio?
That's we thought it was. We thought we're like, dude, like, you remember those commercials like Freedom Rock, turn it up, and it's always fucking we're an American band and all these kind of like anthem type 70s classic
big
rock
chorus,
songs. Yeah, it's
fucking
like
awesome
as shit. All the guitars stuff was a blast.
Chicks dig it too.
For the longest time, my ringtone for my alarm was "Ghost Along the Mississippi." Yeah, it's fucking such a cool riff. That record is incredibly. It's just awesome from beginning to end.
All of them are really. Do you miss playing in Down?
I miss playing with the guys.
The camaraderie of it.
Yeah. But I mean, I still get along well with all of them.
Sure, yeah.
Which is the most important thing.
That is. I mean, friends are.
I mean, I'm extremely happy things worked out the way they did. You know, and now it's a situation with Pepper back with COC and Jimmy and Phil are super joined. Phil's doing more illegal stuff.
I Hate God was just here a couple months ago.
Yeah, I mean Jimmy's got I Hate God as well. It's kind of like they don't have much time for Down right now.
Yeah, right.
Which I mean I knew that was going to be a situation as well.
Yeah, I can't keep track of Phil, dude. He just record after record. Like, what are you doing, man? I can't keep track of you.
Well, that's what he does. I mean, like, he's got the studio and everything on. He's got 17 acres or something like that out in the woods and shit. So
yeah, he just
gets up, walks over to the studio, and makes music every day. Just doing something.
Going to the office, man.
Producing one of the bands on the label, or working on one of his million projects or whatever. That's what he does.
That's a passion project for sure. I thought about starting a label a couple times, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so. That being said, I mean, Phil's doing his own thing with his own label, and you're kind of running a well-oiled, efficient machine with Crowbar. The way things are going, it seems like a lot of artists are going that route now. Like, they're releasing their own stuff, and it's easier than it's ever been. I mean, we've all only ever been independent musicians, but it's easier now than ever before. Have you ever thought about releasing a Crowbar record on your own?
I thought about it, but I mean, I'm really happy with, with our situation with eOne, and then we have SPV Steamhammer over in Europe, which is a big label over there. You know, and eOne is basically a major as well,
major independent. I would call them,
So I mean, they got a lot of great bands. Not just they have Ace Frehley and Black Label and Zach's solo stuff and High on Fire and
Whores. You heard Whores?
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's killer.
They've been on this podcast.
They got a lot of hip hop artists and different stuff. They do. Believe it or not, we got some stuff for our granddaughter. They actually, I think it's actually a UK based company, and there's this big hit little animated TV show called Peppa Pig.
Oh yeah, I heard
that's very big in the UK. Well, they have that too. So we got when we were doing press, we're looking, and Robin's like, it looks like all kind of Peppa Pig stuff up in that room. So she went and talked to the lady in that department or whatever at the office, and she gave her bags of DVDs and all kind of shit.
No shit.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, but it's a great label, and SPV Steamhammer are really, they're fans of the band, and they work it hard. So I mean, if I had the money to do my own label and have a proper distribution, it would be a different situation.
Yeah,
because to have proper distribution, I don't know why it was a hard word. You have to sell records.
Absolutely.
A real company's not going to pick you up if you're not selling records.
Right.
And it's like Phil's really been able to make his record label grow tenfold because now he's got I Hate God, he's got Superjohn, he's got the Illegals, he's got stuff that's not just passionate stuff that he wanted to do, but bands that are
have a core fan base,
that are selling records, which is making his label obviously much more successful, and that's great because it started out basically as a labor of love for him, doing bands he wanted to do and whatnot, but then getting some of these other bands on the label really has helped Housecore to really grow, which is great.
That's good to hear, because I kind of wondered about that. I was like, I wonder if he's actually doing well with it, but it seems like
I would think
it's probably not getting super, it's not a ton of cash.
Well, nobody sells it,
right.
So but I think he's in a great position being the owner of the label and putting your own bands on it,
and you're if you're passionate about that, then the business side of it makes it so much easier.
Totally.
So as far as the Serpent Only Lies, Todd Strange back in the band. It's been a while now, but my favorite track off that is Surviving the Abyss, and the reason why is because I think it harkens back, going back to Oddfellows Rest. It feels like that had that vibe of that record.
Totally does, yeah.
Like it could be on that album for sure.
Yeah.
And so did he play a part in sprinkling that little vibe into that song or any of those songs?
No, I ended up doing the bass on the record.
Oh, did you? He's not on it. Okay.
We were in the transition. What happened was we were in the transition of going from Jeff to having Todd back in the band, and Todd had to go relearn all these songs. We had a tour booked with supporting Carcass coming up.
Right.
So it was kind of like, look, you just worry about getting on the old material, and I'll show you the shit that you don't know from the old days.
Right.
And stuff after he had originally left that we do, of course.
Which is a lot of output.
Yeah. So, he was concentrating on that and getting ready for the tour, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just do the bass. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love that song. You guys gonna play that tonight?
No, but I love that one.
Yeah.
That riff, actually, I never write on the road, but I wrote that riff. Rarely do I write on the road. I wrote that riff in Essen, Germany at Soundcheck. I just started fucking around, that opening riff.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
reminds me of like The Obsessed or something.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a wino to me. It's kind of like a wino riff.
Yeah. Now you say
I
that.
like it a lot.
That hits.
So, and I was driving poor Robin crazy because I was up there by myself like 30, 45 minutes just trying to fine tune it,
Yeah.
And, of course, the amp was cranked. It's coming through the PA and shit. She's setting up merchandise. Like,
hey, man.
It's enough.
What's up, Big Dave?
What's up, dude?
We're having a podcast. You want to say hi?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
All right, you?
Oh, good, man. Thank you.
Good to see you.
You want to say hi to everybody? Go ahead.
Hi, everybody.
I think they heard you on this one. The last one was a little rough.
Yeah.
You got any questions? Because I got another one.
Go for it.
What's next? New album in 2018?
It'll be recorded in 2018. Probably
Cool.
shooting for beginning of 2019 for a release. I mean, we have enough. I said we finally have, 3.5, 4 months maybe off, and then a lot of stuff coming up, in Europe and UK and stuff, throughout on and off throughout the whole spring, summer, and into the fall. Actually,
That's all European.
Pretty much. I mean, we've kind of like it's time to give it a rest, and it's like we're running out of. We toured so much,
Yeah.
and you have to make money, but we're running out of markets that we haven't already played a few times. I mean, like we played Bloomington, Illinois last night. I've never been there in all my years of touring. We're playing Kent tonight. I've never played here in all my years.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, no. Akron.
Akron, we played. Of course, Columbus and Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Yeah, just saw you there.
But I mean, we've never been to Kent, so it's cool in a way. Like we did Des Moines, Iowa, which we've only done once or twice in the last 26 years. So,
cool. Yeah.
but it's getting to the point where we've been to LA this many times. I've been to Vegas 3 times this year, and this and this and this. It's like let's let it cool. Let it chill, and then
let them miss you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And come back.
You got to do that. You can't. I mean, that's like whenever bigger bands come out, they start out with A markets. They're doing New York City. They're doing Hollywood. They're doing Houston and Dallas and whatever.
Right.
And it starts trickling down after you're on the road for a while while you're doing the B markets and C markets and whatnot.
Right.
Literally we're running out of places that we haven't already kind of burned out. So
well, hopefully you come back to Kent again. This is the shit for
if
us.
It's cool. We will.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Honestly, it's like it can be a new market. Like, hey, we did well in Kent. Let's play there again. We had a blast. It was a good show. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it'll do well tonight. Yeah. I mean, your music is highly influential in this area. Hate Theory, my band, Burn Blue Sky, his band, and a bunch of our friends all listen to Crowbar. So they should all be here
Glad
tonight.
to hear that.
And they better be here tonight. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Anything else, buddy?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it,
It's a big honor to sit down and actually talk to you. I've bumped into you many times over the years, but it's fun to actually sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, sure. I'm probably one of the minority in the sense that I like to do interviews.
Yeah.
I talk a lot in general. I just do. I'm not a quiet person at all.
Right.
Well,
very
me and
easy
my
to talk
wife
to.
are just, and our kids and all like, Jesus, y'all never, I'll never stop talking. You talk too much. They always tell her, and she's like, "Do I talk too much?" I'm like, "Not to me, but man, they'll schedule me on a 10-minute interview. It'll go an hour."
Yeah.
If it's a good interview and it's
flowing, nice and
people
relaxed,
know what they're talking about and they're into it and all. It's like I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to take any more of your time. I'm like, I'm fine. Bro.
We got all night.
But no, that was a great interview, man.
Yeah,
Looking forward to the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Us too.
Cheers. Thanks.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.